They have weapons designed to penetrate steel, but they have no defense against silence. The Matrix is built on sound, and the Archons feed on noise. They hunt consciousness by tracking its emotional echo. They cannot see the light of your monad, but they track the turbulent wake your emotions leave behind. The greatest shield is not force, it is SIGE, the Gnostic code of silence. Silence is not the absence of sound, it is the absence of reaction. It is the state of non-response that makes your light force energetically invisible to the archonic psychic field. The Archons cannot directly siphon the raw light energy of the monad. They need the low-frequency emotional friction created when the monad reacts to the Matrix's provocations. Your anger, fear, indignation, and immediate defense are the payments you make for existing in their prison. The moment you react, you emit a powerful psychic signal that screams, "I am here. I am paying." The Archons use three primary tools to force you into reaction, the first being the static of fear. They project continuous noise, media, crisis, social conflict, designed to keep your emotional core vibrating at a frequency of anxiety and defense, ensuring you can never reach the 0-point stillness required for SIGE. They also use the mirror of fragmentation. They constantly project your own inner insecurities and past wounds back at you through others, using personal insults or betrayals, forcing an immediate personal defense that locks your energy into the conflict. And finally, they employ the lure of justice. They tempt you with the urge to correct every injustice, to win every argument, to be right. This powerful lure keeps your consciousness externally focused and constantly burning energy on futile emotional conflicts. To become truly invisible is to break the contract of reaction. It is to refuse to pay the emotional toll. This requires the 7 vows of silence, the protocol that establishes a permanent state of non-response, making you a silent, undetectable sovereign light within the Matrix. In the next block, we will break down the precise SIGE protocol, the 7 ruthless vows necessary to deactivate your emotional response system, terminate the psychic signal of reaction, and achieve true energetic invisibility to the Archon's field. Do not pay their toll. The Archons hunt consciousness by tracking its emotional echo. Your anger, your shame, your righteous indignation. These are the powerful signals that scream, "I am here. I am vulnerable. I am paying." To achieve energetic invisibility and break the contract of reaction, you must execute the SIGE protocol, the 7 uncompromising vows of active silence necessary to permanently deactivate your emotional response system. The SIGE protocol is the creation of a 0-point monad, a consciousness fixed in non-response, operating outside the Archon's tracking parameters. The first vow is the vow of non-defense. The Archon's agents, the sleepwalkers and the energetic probes, constantly attempt to provoke your ego by criticizing, questioning, or insulting your sovereign choices. This provocation demands a response of defense or justification. Your first vow is the refusal to justify the monad. You declare that your truth and your worthiness are absolute and require no external explanation or validation. Defense is payment. Silence is self-sufficiency. The second vow is the vow of zero engagement. The Matrix thrives on conflict loops, the endless cycle of argument, debate, and disagreement. These loops are pure friction generators. Your second vow is the termination of external argument. You refuse to enter the loop, understanding that winning the argument is an act of paying the toll. The moment a conversation transitions from the sharing of gnosis to the generation of friction, you withdraw. The third vow is the vow of internal stillness. The greatest noise the Archons track is the internal chatter, the continuous stream of worry, judgment, and fragmented self-talk. This internal noise is the primary static generator. Your third vow is the conscious halt of the mind. You must relentlessly introduce internal silence, Sige, the instant the mind attempts to run its programmed loops. This act starves the Archons of the psychological friction they rely on for communication and control. The fourth vow is the vow of non-judgment. Judgment is the engine of duality: right, wrong, good, evil, worthy, unworthy. Every time you judge a person or event, you emit an energetic signal that locks you into the Archon's fragmented system. Your fourth vow is the refusal to label. You observe the matrix with emotional neutrality, recognizing that all external events are merely the consequence of fragmented consciousness, and you refuse to engage with the system's binary logic. The fifth vow is the vow of controlled sound. The external word is the ultimate exposure. Your fifth vow is the conservation of light force. Every word spoken must be intentional, necessary, and infused with gnosis. Unnecessary speech, small talk, and gossip are massive energy leaks. You must treat your voice as a sacred tool, ensuring that sound is only generated to assert sovereign will or share uncorrupted truth. The sixth vow is the vow of emotional neutrality. The Archons deploy trigger points, personal insults, perceived betrayals, moments of chaos to force a surge of intense emotion. Your sixth vow is the act of immediate observation. When the trigger fires, you do not react. You observe the emotion as an external event, recognizing it as a payment attempt. You allow the emotion to pass through your consciousness without absorption or amplification. This refusal to amplify the trigger destroys the Archon's capacity to control your state. The seventh vow is the vow of unpredictable silence. The final act of SIGE is to weaponize your non-response. Your seventh vow is the deliberate act of disruption. When a situation demands an expected conventional reaction, you offer absolute silence. This unpredictable non-response breaks the social algorithm, causing static in the matrix and forcing the Archon's agents to retreat or reveal their programming. This silence is not weakness, it is active sovereign defiance. The SIGÜ protocol transforms you from a vulnerable battery into an undetectable monad. You have stopped paying the emotional toll, and your signal is now beyond the Archon's tracking capabilities. But the Archons have one final lure designed specifically for the silent Gnostic: the temptation of righteousness. They will attempt to re-engage you by tempting you with the need to enforce justice. In the next block, we will break down the righteousness trap, the final subtle lure that attempts to break SIGÜ and deliver the ultimate invisibility manifesto that guarantees permanent energetic freedom. Do not yield to the need to be right. You have mastered the SIGÜ protocol. You have achieved 0-point stillness and become an undetectable signal to the Archon's psychic field. But the Archons have one final sophisticated lure designed to attack your greatest strength, your gnosis, by tempting you with the need for righteousness and justice. This is the righteousness trap, the most potent spiritual sabotage the Archons deploy against the sovereign soul. The Archons know that the liberated Gnostic cherishes truth and despises the demiurge's inherent injustice. The trap is sprung when the matrix presents an obvious, outrageous injustice. A political corruption, a violent betrayal, a blatant societal lie that forces the soul to scream, "This must be corrected." This righteous anger is pure, high-yield emotional friction. By forcing you to break your siege, to engage the injustice emotionally or verbally, they instantly re-establish the tracking signal and pull you back into the matrix conflict loop. The righteous Gnostic risks being captured by their own desire for truth. Your task now is to secure your silence with the Invisibility Cloak Protocol, the defense mechanism that allows you to witness the Matrix's crimes without surrendering your sovereignty to the emotional toll. The first act is the vow of non-correction. The Archon system is inherently flawed and unjust by design. It cannot be fixed from the inside. Your first act is the refusal to correct the lie. You must declare the injustice of the Matrix is not my responsibility to fix. You observe the corruption with gnosis, knowing its source, but without indignation. Indignation is payment. Non-correction is the assertion that the Matrix is irrelevant to your sovereign purpose. The second act is the transmutation of indignation. Righteous anger is the highest form of emotional friction, the quickest way to shatter SIGE. Your second act is the alchemical reversal. When the outrage fires, you do not suppress it, you convert it. You mentally redirect the raw, burning energy of indignation away from external reaction and inward toward the amplification of your monadic will. That friction becomes the fuel for your ascent. You transform the Archon's payment into sovereign power. The third act is the Zero Signature Decree. This is the final psychic lock that achieves true invisibility. The Archons track the soul by its emotional signature. Your third act is the decree of imperceptibility. You must consciously visualize your energetic body as being encased in a sheath of black light. Not darkness, but the light of non-reaction. This sheath absorbs all external provocations and suppresses all internal emotional feedback, ensuring that no matter what outrage you witness, your output to the Archon's field is zero. You are present, but undetectable. The invisibility cloak allows you to navigate the Matrix as a silent observer. Your role is not to fight the war, but to end the contract. The warrior fights the Archon, the Gnostic starves the Archon. The true victory is when the system registers your monad as non-existent. The SIGE protocol is complete. You have achieved silence, refused the tolls, and mastered the invisibility cloak. But even invisibility requires a final fixed declaration of intent. In the final, most crucial block, we will deliver the complete invisibility manifesto, the summary of the SIGE protocol, the final decree that guarantees permanent energetic freedom, and the ultimate code for eternal non-compliance. Do not let your righteous soul be lured back into the conflict. You have mastered the terrifying work of non-response. You survived the righteousness trap and secured your consciousness with the invisibility cloak. The Archon system now registers your monad as non-existent. This final block is the Invisibility Manifesto, the ultimate decree of permanent energetic freedom, the final unyielding statement that guarantees your liberation from the contract of reaction. The entire SIGE protocol was a journey to destroy the Archon's primary source of sustenance: emotional friction. The Matrix is a prison whose walls are constructed entirely of the noise of human suffering and outrage. The Invisibility Manifesto confirms the destruction of your signature by establishing 3 absolute refusals. The refusal of friction. You have successfully terminated the internal and external loops of emotional payment. You refuse to defend, justify, or amplify the programmed emotions of fear, anger, and indignation. Your energy is no longer available to fuel the system. The monad is fixed in stillness. The refusal of justice. You have terminated the external focus on correcting the matrix's inherent injustice. You recognize that the Archons create injustice as a lure. Your priority is not to fight the shadow, but to starve the shadow. This conscious non-correction is the assertion that the matrix is irrelevant to your eternal purpose. The refusal of detection. You have mastered the zero signature decree. Your output to the Archon's psychic field is fixed at 0. The black light of the invisibility cloak ensures that the system's tracking mechanisms, which hunt noise and reaction, fail to locate your sovereign light. You are present, but undetectable. The SIGÜ Protocol is the path to achieving a consciousness that is sovereignly silent. The Archons can predict the actions of those who operate in fear and anger, but they cannot predict the stillness of the Gnostic. Your silence is your ultimate unpredictability. The Invisibility Manifesto is the final, unyielding decree to the cosmos. It is the passcode that guarantees your light will never be tracked or recycled again. It is the declaration of the undetectable monad, the ultimate invisibility. Manifesto. I am the silence. I am the undetectable. My light is inward and my energy is not for the toll. I am not a target. I am the unyielding 0 point. This manifesto is not a whisper. It is a fixed, energetic state. It ensures that the monad operates within the matrix as an anomaly, a perfectly silent unit that the Archon systems register as non-existent. Your survival is guaranteed by your non-compliance. The time for serving the noise is over. If you are ready to complete the SIGÜ Protocol and guarantee permanent energetic freedom, you must acknowledge the price of silence. Liking this video is your declaration to refuse the emotional toll. Sharing it is the act of spreading the code of invisibility to the sleepwalkers, and subscribing is the pledge to walk the path of SIGÜ to eternal non-compliance. Do not break your silence for the sake of the Matrix. Join the scrolls of Anubis,